Diana and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to share a bit about how I became an Amazon influencer, what this program is all about, how people can get started in it, and why I'm so enthused with it and why I've been doing this is pretty much my focus for the past couple years. So as a disclaimer, I am not affiliated with Amazon in any way. I am an independent contractor and I work through a number of their programs to create income. So this is not a statement to say that you can make a certain amount of income either, because it really varies on what you do as far as, you know, what your audience is into and how you connect them with different things. But on a whole, it has been a really great fit for me. And so this is a bit of what has worked for me in case it could be helpful for you. So first things first, during the pandemic, I had gone back to working full-time in more of a marketing type position out in the world. It was a couple different places. And then the pandemic hit and I found myself furloughed part-time, where I was still helping the company try to stay afloat through the pandemic. It was a museum, so it was very affected, and I was helping them out, but I still had a lot more time to work on my own business at that point, which I'd had just kind of running in the background and just kind of had it maintained, more automated in the background until the pandemic hit. And primarily at that point, I was making travel videos, a lot of travel videos. That was my sole focus. And so when the pandemic hit, it's like everything just crashed at the same time. We do a lot of Disney videos. So Disney had literally closed their doors. The museum that I was working for directly as an employee and then had helped during the pandemic had closed their doors for a period of time. And it was just like kind of dismal everywhere. And so I knew eventually people would go back to being out in the world and traveling, and we're back there at this point. So I didn't really give up my side business, but I knew that for a period of time, if I was going to keep it going, I needed to try to figure out things that I could do at home. This was that time period when we were at home, and we were at home for a full virtual year after the pandemic started. So we were at home through 2020 and through 2021. So during that time frame, I happened to get an email reaching out to me. I think probably because I do YouTube. I have a number of different channels. I will link them down below. But I got an email reaching out to me offering to become a part of the Amazon Live program, which was a new program at that time. And so I thought, well, I don't really do lives, but I'm home all the time, so this sounds fun. I'll try it out. And so I signed up for the program, and at this point I was an Amazon associate, but I really wasn't doing a whole lot with it, if we can be honest. I would get a sale here and there, and then my blog also was kind of running in the background. Same thing. I really wasn't doing a whole lot with it. It was just kind of hanging out in the background, getting the occasional content pushed onto it. So at that point, I was very much more focused on the social media side, YouTube, and all of that, making these videos like we are right now. And that was really my focus. And I had people tell me time and time again, when I would go to all those wonderful conferences in 2017, 2018, even 2019, I would meet these wonderful bloggers and we'd sit down and we would talk about strategy, and every time they would tell me, you need to take your blog more seriously. You really need to take your blog more seriously, because they're just making so much crazy money. And in case you don't know, the differences between everything, the RPMs for blogs are much higher than they are currently for YouTube. All of those kind of tanked around the 2017 time frame. Back in the really early days, we were getting a lot better, but now they're just really honestly abysmal. If you're doing YouTube, you're doing it because you love it and you're doing it for fun, right? Not to say you can't make a little bit of money here and there, but it doesn't even translate into the same numbers that you can do with the same views with blogs. It's not even in the same ballpark. So I had a number of great conversations and people just encouraging me, really sit down and take this seriously. And I paid someone to redo my blog, and I was like, yes. And then I just never had time to deal with it. So I kept making YouTube videos because it's what I know how to do quickly, and I could crank them out at that point very easily and still do it and work in a corporate job. So it was great. YouTube pays for all of our family vacations, and it's great, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I knew that there was untapped potential there, but I didn't really have time to deal with it until the pandemic hit. So I get this invite into the Amazon Live program, and I'm like, this is cool. I don't really do lives. I really like editing out all of my little pauses and dumb things that I say, but we'll try it. I tried it. I'm not great at live, or well, I guess I shouldn't say that. Live is not my forte, right? Because I'm long-winded, which sometimes works for live because they want you to talk for like an hour. But I would like get bored with myself. Like 20 minutes is the sweet spot for me. I got 20 good minutes of something to say and then I'm just done. So live didn't really work for me in that respect, but it was like kind of in its heyday. So I would do them occasionally because it was kind of fun and people would get on and interact with you. But at the same time, it kind of opened up my eyes to everything I could do over on Amazon. I didn't really get it until I started doing more of the lives. Well, then I had my Amazon influencer storefront, which I kind of set up, but didn't really do anything with. And I was like, oh, well, I could put some time into this. So I started making photos and idea lists and videos directly for my storefront. And this opened up a whole new layer to Amazon that I did not realize had existed. As an Amazon influencer, you're making these pieces of content, and when you start making enough of them, after you make 3 videos, you can actually be considered to go onto Amazon's product pages. And at that point, you're making content to share with Amazon's audience about how things work or work best for you, how they fit you, what you like about them, all those sorts of things. And it helps them be informed on whether or not the item would work for them. So I started doing this and I started really loving it. And in fact, I actually started really loving that side way more than the Amazon Live stuff. So I just put all of my time and energy into what's called the shoppable content side. So I was making shoppable videos, shoppable photos, and this like just took off because everyone was at home. Everyone was shopping on Amazon and I was like, holy cow, this is amazing. So we hit like mid 2021. Stuff's starting to come back on YouTube with travel videos a little bit. Like I think we did one trip in Disney in there where it was like pandemic and everyone was in mask and social distancing. The lines were amazing. I love social distancing at Disney. It was great. You had 6 feet between you and the party in front of you and behind you. Really beautiful time for that portion. So little travel videos here and there, but I was like, oh, well, I just have all this time because travel's really not fully back yet. I'm just going to do the Amazon stuff. And it bounced back in a sense, like so much faster than anything else. The travel videos did eventually bounce back. People are now searching out things and still get videos from 7-8 years ago that are still currently relevant and they are watching those to plan their trips. So it did bounce back. But at 2021, early 2022, everyone was still buying things online. Everyone was still kind of avoiding stores, or they had just gotten used to buying things online. It was really, really big. So Amazon Live was kind of actually starting to taper off, and Amazon shoppable videos were the thing. And I had already kind of established myself in that. So I have really kind of well built out Amazon storefront. It's got the videos and the photos and the idea list, and it really just started becoming this big base of my income. I mean, it was literally more than I was making out in the corporate world off of just my storefront. So I was like, cool, well, this seems to be the way things are going right now. So at some point, I think in early 2023, shoppable videos were starting to cool off a little bit. It was still really good, but I decided I needed to really start diversifying. You know, everything's starting to come back up, but I thought, you know, I have the time to focus on these blogs. I need to get these blogs really sorted out and technically more how they're supposed to be. And I want to increase what's called my Amazon offsite, which is like your Amazon associates, and really start focusing on that. So by using the blogs in conjunction with my Amazon affiliate account, I was able to connect people directly with solutions to their questions. That's my whole formula. Like I have multiple programs built out to show you the nitty-gritty of how I do all of these things. But the essential piece of the formula is I have certain issues or problems that I know exist in the world. I try to pick, you know, things that I know really well. Like I used to be a cat owner, so I use cats as my example in all of my mini courses. But I used to be a cat owner, so I know all the problems that cat owners have. So as a blogger, what I'm doing is I'm writing content to directly speak to that audience and give them answers to the issues that they have. And then you connect them with like the affiliate products and services that can help them with those issues too. So you're really it's really kind of cool because you're helping people, but then you're still making the income off of it. So I started to kind of flip. Shoppable videos are nice because they can be quite passive. And so I started to kind of flip things around to where I was putting more time and effort kind of building up the blogs, getting them more technically correct because they weren't technically correct prior to that. And then also, you know, really trying to build out all my content with that idea in mind that I was connecting people with answers to their questions. And I spent a good part of last year doing that. And it became my biggest year ever as a creator. So it's wild because I was completely using this formula, this system that I previously had not done anything with. I had all of the tools that I use in the system all activated, but I just didn't have them connected together in the right way. And I completely changed what my income looked like from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So now this year I've just started building on it and duplicating it and replicating it. I call it in my program, I call it stacking systems, to where you can actually just take this same system that you find that works for you with the right programs and the right connections, and then I just duplicate it, and then you just duplicate it again, and then you just duplicate it again. And then it just is as many times as you can duplicate it. So that's really what I do in a nutshell. But it's crazy because it's like completely different than what I was doing pre-pandemic. It's completely different than what I was doing 3 years ago. And it's really, really cool. So I'm having fun teaching that, and I'm having fun trying to show creators that there's more than one way to do things, that, you know, if you're making YouTube videos, that's awesome, but definitely think about how you're connecting people around through content and connecting them to those answers, and make sure it's in the most effective place possible. I love YouTube. I do YouTube for fun. I think it's like a nostalgia thing at this point. I've had this channel for the longest, but it's just really not where most people can make the most revenue. It's just really not. So if you're gonna do this as a career, there's a lot of different ways to do it. So I hope that's been helpful. I'm sharing all the bits and pieces of how I do things on dianahughes.com. I'm sharing over on my blog kind of all those business bits and pieces that I changed up to increase my own revenue and things that I've been changing and doing in my own business. So if you have any questions, let me know down below. But I want to share a little bit more on this channel about the business side of things, share what's worked for me, talk about how I use the blogs as a tool, talk about the different other tools that I use as well too. And also kind of like share more about the Amazon program, because I talk to so many bloggers that they may be aware of the Associates program, but they still don't understand the influencer program and everything that's down inside of it. So I'm happy to help. Let me know down in the comments, and definitely check out dianahughes.com. That's where I pull all of my business things over to, where I'm starting to set up blogs specifically about questions people have from my programs, or to help you kind of understand like what you would learn in each of the programs as well too. And I'm also happy to help if you have another random question that's not answered in any of those as well. So thanks for watching today, and have a great day.